in Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. You might recall that he was a rookie on the Los Angeles Lakers when Kobe Bryant was there. Of course, he played there for 9 years, went on to coach the Lakers even after Kobe was retired. So that relationship was very strong between Walton and Bryant. It's time now to welcome in a guest of ours, Shaun Powell, NBA.com writer, who is in LA right now. We appreciate you joining us. Just sorry it's under these circumstances, Shaun, and I wanted to remind you and let all the viewers at home know that the NBA announced today that there will be no game tomorrow. The Lakers-Clippers game was postponed by the NBA. The date will be set in the future for when they will play. This is only the 7th time in the last 5 years that the NBA has decided to postpone a game. The other 6 times, Shaun, were due to either weather or unplayable conditions on the actual court. Your thoughts on the magnitude of this decision?
Yeah, it's sort of an unprecedented step by the NBA. The NBA also didn't play games after the Boston bombing. Also, the NBA didn't play after the Kennedy assassination. Ironically, the NFL did play 2 days after the assassination, and they've regretted that. But, I mean, in this game, Clippers and Lakers, I'm not so sure any of the players even wanted to play. I'm sure they wouldn't be in the frame of mind. I'm not even so sure a lot of fans wanted to see a basketball game. If they had this game, it probably would have been a therapy session. Not necessarily a memorial, but a celebration of life and for an excuse for fans to come, pay their respects, and dig out those Kobe number 8 jerseys and number 24 jerseys. LA is just understandably feeling very down about this. It's so soon. I think people are really just now coming to grips with what happened. You're having street artists, they're painting the sides of buildings, as a tribute to Kobe. So, look, he resonated in this city. He played all 20 years of his NBA career with the Lakers. He came to LA as a 17-year-old, played his first game at age 18, and this city sort of grew up with him and also watched him grow up. So there's a bond there, and then when you throw in the tragedy that affected the lives of everyone else on board that helicopter and also his 13-year-old daughter, it's just an unbelievable tragedy, and it's going to take a long time, if ever, for this city to comprehend what just happened.
Shaun, you've been around, you've been in the media, you've covered a lot of players. I just wanted you to just kind of talk about your interaction with Kobe Bryant, because you've seen him since day one and grow into the man that he had become. And could you just speak on your interactions with Kobe?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I go back even before day one. I was a reporter in New York, and Rick Mahorn, I think he was teasing me about some clothes I was wearing at the time, and all of a sudden, the conversation shifted to basketball, and he said, "Hey, have you seen Joe Bryant's kid play?" And I said, "Joe Bryant? You mean Jelly Bean?" He says, "Yeah." He says, he has a son who's 17, he's in Philadelphia, and we played pickup basketball during the summertime with NBA players, and he wasn't the last player picked. So, of course, I drove down the New Jersey Turnpike to watch Kobe play in a game that night, and he was too busy to talk to me after the game because he had to go home and do his homework. Yeah, that's right, this guy was a teenager. So he told me to come back the next day. So, of course, I have to drive all the way back down the New Jersey Turnpike, and I walk into the school, and they said, go check the gym. I think he's in there. And Kobe was just in the gym, shooting jumpers in his street clothes. And this was during the school day. I think he had a break. So we had to sit in the hallway because all the classrooms were occupied. And he just impressed me right away. He was smart, intelligent, worldly. Understand that he spent most of his childhood in Italy, so he was fluent in multiple languages. And when the bell rang, students just stepped over us. And Kobe didn't miss a beat. He just kept talking. And I was just so impressed by the interview. I drove back, and I had to write about a Philadelphia teenager in a New York newspaper. And one of my editors said, "Hey, this kid better be worth it." And I think in hindsight, I think he was worth it.
Shaun, Sam Mitchell here. When you think about Kobe as the player, and you followed a lot of NBA players. To you, your personal opinion, what separated him? We all got stories. We all got feelings. We all got reasons why we think he separated himself from the rest of us. But in your estimation, following all these players, what separated Kobe Bryant from the rest of the league?
Well, I don't think Kobe ever got comfortable, on the court. I don't think he had a good game and says, you know what, that's about the best I can do. He was never satisfied with his own greatness, which was tremendous, top 5 probably player all time. He was always seeking to improve, always seeking to get better, even into his 30s. And I think that's why that kind of endeared him to a lot of fans. When you talk about the Mamba mentality, it wasn't just about basketball. He said that you can apply that thought into whatever you're doing, your homework, if another line of work, whatever it might be. You try to be your best, and once you feel that you've reached your best, you try to go even further. And I think a lot of fans could relate to that, and I think they try to apply that to their own lives. And the other thing that resonated with Kobe was how devoted of a father he was. Again, he was, he loved his daughter, as all fathers do, but he was very involved in their lives. Everything they did, he all of a sudden tried to become an expert at doing. I think if one of his daughters wanted to ice skate, Kobe would probably take ice skating lessons so he could participate. So I think because of that, here's a guy who grew up overseas, so he connected with people internationally. He was a smart man. He played hard. He entertained in a town that's, the bar is high on entertainment. And he worked hard, and he resonated as a family man. I think that's why you see the outpouring of grief that you do see today, not only in Los Angeles, but everywhere.
Certainly. Shaun, you've given us a couple of examples of your memories. I wanted to know what's your most memorable experience as it relates to Kobe Bryant?
Well, look, I think I'm going to have to go all the way down to the last game. Obviously, I saw him play in high school, but in his final game in the NBA, it wasn't just the points he scored and the way he went out, all the applause, the purple and gold confetti falling from the ceiling at the Staples Center, the cameras clicking away as he walked off the court. I think what struck me most about that game, and I think Smitty can probably relate to this and see, is that he was huffing and puffing his way around the floor. He really didn't have much to give. Again, this is a guy who suffered a serious injury before. He was older, probably carrying a few extra pounds, but he was huffing and puffing his way across the floor. And that told me he was giving all he had until he had no more else to give. And again, I think that that's a scene that's going to resonate with a lot of fans as they look back at his career, look back at his many memorable moments. And I just think the way he went out in style and winning the game and giving all he had, I think a lot of fans can connect with that.
Thank you, Shaun Powell. We appreciate you joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Giving all he has to give, that is epitomizing Kobe Bryant. And here on social media, we're seeing just some examples of what people are doing to pay homage to Kobe Bryant around the city of Los Angeles. She with Kobe Bryant. Tonight on the NBA app for Front Court, Cheryl Swoops will be joining for the game, so make sure you check that out. We're back here in the studios, and again, we've got a guest who is going to share with us their feelings and their emotions as we welcome in Dominique Wilkins, Hall of Famer, and of course famous for being right here in Atlanta with the Hawks, but also being one of the most well-known players. He can identify with the Kobe Bryants of the world. Dominique, we're sorry that you're joining us under these circumstances, but we do appreciate your time. What was it that made Kobe Bryant so great?
Wow, there's so many things, but I think the one thing that he had is that competitive edge that comes around once in a lifetime. Just an incredible competitive spirit, and he was just a more incredible person. I knew him very well, and this is I think it's harder today than it was yesterday because it's kind of sinking in that this is real, and it's like you're lost for words. It really is.
Neek, you had a relationship with him. Is there anything you can just share, for us about y'all special relationships that you two had with each other?
Yeah, I tell you, I've met a lot of guys in my lifetime and basketball lifetime, and I can tell you that Kobe